Don't ride here. Ride here. Explore new horizons with Moto Freight. Proud sponsors of Under the Visor.
Yes, I'm Clare Elsdon. I rode from London to Cape Town about 5 years ago for a year on my own, just discovering Africa and life in general. And now I live in Tanzania, in Mwanza, and I run Piccalilli, which is Tanzania's first motorbike workshop specifically for women. So all our apprentices are women. And we started that about a year ago, and now it's just kind of gone a bit crazy, the demand that is for what we're doing, because the crash rate amongst motorcycle taxi drivers out there is very, very high. So for example, in the capital city in Dar es Salaam, there's actually a motorbike crash ward which typically gets 50 new people coming into that day from having crashed on the road. But also we're now running motorbike ambulances for the local community as well, so that's a really exciting development. Basically, it turns out it's really hard to write a book, and I have full massive respect for those who managed to do it. I started writing it and it was the most turgid, boring piece of material. Even I was bored reading it. So one day I will actually try and get around to writing it in a way that's actually interesting. But for me, blogging is really a joy. Writing a book, somehow, can't do it so far. So no progress, I'm afraid, on that front. Yeah, well basically, I'd re-entered the world of work, same as my sort of former job before the trip really, which my heart was not in, but I was trying to work out what I was trying to do basically. And then life basically took me back to Tanzania about 3 times in the course of 1 year. And one of those trips, and basically it just felt like coming home, getting off that plane, it was just breathing the African air, being back there again. For me, it's not stressful at all landing at Dar Airport or wherever else, it's just lovely. And I was involved with training up midwives in a project in southern Tanzania, which was a fascinating experience. But at the same time, that's when I started seeing just how many motorbikes were suddenly everywhere, which even 2 or 3 years earlier had not been the case. Because it's only been very recently, in the last 7 years, that it's legal to ride a motorbike as a taxi. A lot of cheap Chinese motorbikes come on the market. And when you start hearing about the crash rates and the things, the problems that are happening as a result of that could be avoided very easily with just a bit of training, education and materials being available, I just started thinking, you know, I've done this maintenance training before in Malawi, I've got a bit of an obsession for it really, and I'm not ashamed of that. So I thought, well, maybe I could offer something here and it could help people and avoid some of these devastating casualties which have huge knock-on impacts. So it was simply an idea of, could we start up a motorbike maintenance workshop offering maintenance and road safety training as well. And the reason why I wanted to have the apprentices as women was because I'd done some work in microfinance, actually helping a microfinance organisation in Malawi with their motorbikes and maintaining them. And most of the people they lent to were women. And if you invest in a woman in Africa, typically they reinvest like 80% of what they make back into their families and their education, and you really see a huge leap of progress. So I kind of want to support that. And also there was an element where, you know, you just don't see many opportunities for women in engineering in Africa. And I thought we've got a nice opportunity to make a small change and give a few women an opportunity to become apprentices. So I thought it was worth giving that a shot. Yeah, well, I think I kind of take life in 5-year chunks these days, really. And I think ultimately, right now we're refurbishing 2 motorbike ambulances in our neighbouring district. But those 2 were bought as a shipment of 400, an order of 400 motorbike ambulances about 4 or 5 years ago. The ones we've seen, and we've seen quite a few, well, a decent number of them now, generally they're not working anymore. Generally they've done about 1,000 kilometres and they just stopped working. It could be they had a puncture or something really simple went wrong and now they're sitting under a tree rotting somewhere. So our mission is to find all those 400 motorbike ambulances, renovate them, train up women to be dedicated riders who've had specific training in how to ride a sidecar, a motorbike with a sidecar, specifically off-road, all the training, the full works, and run that service for the local community and help to bring down the maternal mortality rate by providing transport to get from a village to a hospital. So until that's done, and that's going to be quite a lot of work, that's my planning horizon basically, yeah. Well, these ones are E-Rangers, so the way it works is you have a 200cc Giling motorbike and it's attached to, effectively, a stretcher in a cage on wheels. And so it's a sidecar, so you can ride out averaging probably 15-20 kilometres an hour. It's not supposed to be a fast-moving thing, but it is designed to be off-road. And the reason why these things are so valuable over there is because in Tanzania, the vast majority of people live in rural areas, so a car would find it very hard to reach some of those places. But also a motorbike ambulance is simply just a really cost-effective piece of kit if it's used properly. So it can deliver far more emergency call-outs than a car can for the same budget. So it's actually a really good bit of kit. And the best bit is as well, if you're picking up, say, a woman in labour, there is space on the back of the motorbike that maybe a relative or a traditional birth attendant or someone like that can come with them. So it's nice, they don't feel completely on their own, and it's a really great bit of kit. Yeah, so to explain, so at the moment it's registered in Tanzania actually as a social enterprise, which legally they don't recognise. So legally there it's a business because we're doing business. We're running a workshop, we're charging for those services, the women are earning an income from when they're charging those services. So legally there it's a business. Run as a social enterprise, we reinvest all profits back into what we're doing. We're actually in the process of establishing a charity in the UK to help give comfort to people that the charity's commission are happy and therefore everything's good. And also, just from a tax perspective, a lot of people would prefer to donate to a charity. So we're registering that at the moment, and hopefully it'll be completed quite soon. Yeah, well, the project, so it's called Piccalilli. So in this case, it's Pikilly, because it's Swahili. A Piki is a motorbike, lily is a flower of women in connection. So that's why we spell it like that, although it's a tribute to my favourite chutney. So the website is there, piccalilli.com. The Facebook page is just /Piccalilli. People can stay in touch by watching our video diaries, which are pretty much once a week. And we do a quick 2-minute update from the workshop with our apprentices, the motorbike ambulance is what's been going on. So if they hit like and follow our Facebook page, that's a great place to go. Or the website, they can join our newsletter that way, and that comes out about once a quarter. If they want to support us, we do have PayPal links on the website, which we are always so grateful for anyone who sends us some cash. It all goes into the project directly. And we are always interested in hearing from people who want to help us, whether it's they want to come out and volunteer, they're passing through anyway, they want to come in for a cup of tea and see what the workshop's like. We welcome those people. We're a very lean team, so anyone who's prepared to give, say, 2 weeks to come out and spend some time with us, we're really grateful for that. Or if people have an idea as to a way to, maybe for example, we're thinking about starting something to collect used but still good quality helmets, bike kit, that kind of thing in the UK, somehow get them shipped to Tanzania and we can sell them in the workshop for a reasonable price because people cannot get hold of good kit. If people are keen to help coordinate that from the UK, we would really, really value that. So all ideas and input is welcome.
Don't ride here. Ride here. Explore new horizons with Moto Freight, proud sponsors of Under the Visor.